Today I want to talk to you about the biggest lie in video games, and it's this little check mark right here, okay? Now, if you don't own an Xbox system, an Xbox One, Xbox One S, an Xbox One X, an Xbox Series S, or an Xbox Series X, then you may not know about this tiny little checkbox right here, this little buddy right here, okay? Look at it. Look at it, oh, so adorable. Now, you see, for those of you who can't read, okay, I get it. I'm gonna read to you what it does. Okay, you'll find this little button. You'll find this in the system settings of your Xbox. Okay. Now this setting says keep my games and apps up to date. First off, no one uses the Xbox apps unless you watch YouTube or Netflix on there, and if you do, you're a sicko. Just get a smart TV like the rest of us. Okay? You make me sick. Okay? You make me sick. I'm gonna put dirt in your eyes. Okay? It's been said. It's too late. Can't go back. There's dirt in your eyes. Should have thought about that. Should have thought about that. Should have thought about that. What are you searching YouTube with an Xbox controller? Dirt's going in your eyes. Number one. Number two. Keep my games and apps up to date. Okay, let me break down number two. Number two is with the new consoles, specifically the Xbox Series consoles, they use these new SSDs. But the problem with these SSDs is because they're so expensive, they don't have much space. So on the Series X, you have 1 terabyte, and on the Series S, you have 512 gigabytes. Now, that's not all, because the OS itself takes space on your hard drive. So in reality, you have about like 900 gigabytes on the Series X, and on the Series S, you have about 400 something, okay? Now already you might be able to see where I'm going. The amount of games you have on that device that can fit there are incredibly low. Do you understand? Okay? And if you're playing Call of Duty because most of your friends don't know any other games to play because they're all heathens, okay, and they want to play the Nicki Minaj game, well, guess what? You got to have Call of Duty on your hard drive. And guess what? Call of Duty takes 120 gigabytes at a minimum. I think it's even higher than that. So on your Series S, you basically have space for 1 Call of Duty and maybe 1 other game. Okay? Number 2, on the Series X, you have space for 1 Call of Duty and maybe 3 other AAA games. Okay? Maybe you have more depending on the tiny games that you have, but the tiny games aren't the problem because they are actually made by indie developers who don't put 20 gig updates. Okay? Now, Call of Duty is notorious for its insane updates. 20 gig updates, 40 gig updates, 50 gig updates. I even once got a 70 gig update to which I said, what is going on? Quite frankly, I'm going to lose my mind. Quite frankly, I'm going to snap. Chat, I'm going to snap. I'm going to snap. Okay? Now, you see, on this console, okay? Right here, clear as day, this says, keep my games and apps up to date. So now we've come to the final straw because I brought my Series X over to my brother's house to play Call of Duty with him side by side like the good little gentlemen that we are. Such a holiday thing. We do it every year. We play games beside each other. It's a great time. And I updated every game before I left my place to go over to his for the holidays. Every game. Every game. But I'm not done. Because at his place, to make sure I can stream to you guys no problem, I have an Xbox Series S that is always available, that is always on with this setting. Both consoles, in fact, have this setting turned on. And my Series S is literally just in his basement, in the guest room where I stay when I stream over there. Okay? I have it there so it's easier. I don't have to carry it back and forth. But I decided this time I'd also bring my Series X so I could play games like Indiana Jones and decide to finish the game. Because as you all know, I finish games. I'm the finisher. I'm the finish man. They call me Zenkai finish goose. Okay? Like, not like the country. Like, I finish the games. Okay? I'm not Finnish. Okay? Look it up. I finish games, dude. Okay? Fight me. I finish games. But come to find that when I go to launch Call of Duty on this Xbox, the Xbox Series S, right? It was easier to move. It's right beside my brother. I plug it in. I get hit with a 70 gig update. But you see, here's the problem, chat. You see this button right here, Microsoft? It doesn't say keep my games and apps updated sometimes. It says keep my game and apps up to date. And I have both consoles on no energy saving modes. They're just always on. They're always on. Do you understand? And now my brother doesn't have fantastic internet. So literally, I'm telling you, chat, it must have been 7 times. I went to go play Call of Duty with my brother. We were feeling it. There was time. Okay, people were like busy, so we could just jump in. We didn't have anything to do. Like, okay, let's play. Let's finally go play. Come to play it, I get hit with a 70 gig update. One time I got hit with a 20 gig update. Then I updated Call of Duty only to find out that I only put in the campaign or whatever. And I had to go get all that stuff. I was like, oh! And then at the end of the night, I go and play on my Xbox Series X. And I went to go play, I had Tekken 8, I had Indiana Jones, and I had UFC 5. I wanted to play that with my brother. I got hit with more updates. Did I try turning auto updates on? I swear to God. I swear to God. Look at me. Do I look like I'm in the mood? Huh? Keep pushing, chat. I want you to keep pushing. I want you to do it. I want you to do it. Okay? I want it. Keep it up, chat. Keep it up. Look. Chat, all I'm saying is, if you're going to put a setting that says keep my games and apps up to date, for the love of God, could it at a bare minimum do that overnight? Like, none of my games ever stay up to date. This is the biggest lie in video game history. It is so frustrating. It has ruined so much of my stuff. In fact, I made a tweet later on. Where did I tweet it? Yeah, see, I literally asked that. I was like, and of course, no response, because whatever. I don't have 20,000 billion followers on Twitter, which, by the way, you should follow me on Twitter. I'm pretty cool over there. But I said, hey, Xbox, can we make it so the auto update feature actually auto updates? I would love it if I didn't ruin my gaming night with the family and force us to wait hours to play literally any of the 2 games I could even install on the small Series S hard drive. Just a thought. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Because I said it. Seriously, man. Like, with the Series S, it's the biggest, most annoying thing because it can only fit like 2 games. I was dying. I was literally dying. I was like, I have this feature turned on. I have the console not on energy saving mode, like it's on always on mode, which takes more power, whatever, I don't care. And I have 2 games. What in God's name is happening? Asking a lot, to be honest. It's only the most recent games you played. It's cooked. Another win for Steam where the entire library is updated. But, okay, Benny. You're, okay, that's fine, Benny. But look what it says. Look what it says. Look, everybody, chat, look together. Does it say, keep my most recent games and apps up to date? Okay, that's number 1. And Benny, I know we're on the same team. I'm just being, I'm being a little rascal, okay, right now, because your boy's triggered. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2. Series S only has 2 games. Xbox, figure it out. Okay? They're all recent because I can only fit 2 games. They're all recent. Figure it out. Number 3, if you want to have the setting where it just updates recent games to save on like data, like because some people have data caps, I get it. That's fine. Put 2 settings in. Keep my most recent update, like make it a drop down. Keep my most recent updates. Or everything, entire library. Just like Steam. I have enough space because it's the only games on there. And literally when I opened the game, it was like, do you want to update? I was like, obviously, because none of the games work online. Like, I need the update. I just can't take it, man. I can't take it with these next-gen consoles. They just don't care about my time. So I made a few other tweets here. And like, I was pretty frustrated. So I said, I'll be honest, this feature lie probably ruined most game nights for me during the holidays. We'd come home after shopping, visiting, and relax to play games and be blocked with multiple huge updates. It's a huge bummer, and I hope Gen 10 fixes it. Obviously, we're in Gen 9 now. Gen 9 fixed the loading problem of Gen 8, but chat, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but me, I'm straight up over this update game. It is so frustrating. I don't know what I'm supposed to do aside from just wake up in the morning, make sure everything's updated, and then go. But that is like the only device ever that does that. I don't do that with my phone. I don't do that with my PC. Like, dude, I'm dying. And during the Christmas holidays where we would go shopping, we'd be in this like great spirits, great vibe. We do all our shopping. We go out, we'd see family, friends. It was a good time. And then you come home and you get ready to play and just like kick back and relax. And I can't do it. It's no wonder to me why most people are watching people play games on YouTube versus actually playing them. Because like who even has time to wait for the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 70 gig update, which Call of Duty was a 70 gig update. What's going on? What about when you unplug your PlayStation and it acts like it was held underwater for 30 minutes? You mean when it has to rebuild the database? That is also really annoying. That is also really annoying. Benny says Gen 10 will get even better. Your Xbox will blue screen halfway through the gaming sessions to give you proper Windows experience. I believe that. I believe that. Gen 10 Xbox is going to be PC 2. I can't wait for PC 2. Super hyped. Super hyped for PC 2. Let's go. Let's go, everybody. PC 2. At least you can clean your nasty mouse while waiting for the download, the update. First off, watch your back, and mine, okay? He's a beautiful little mouse. Look at him. That's Kevin. It's Kevin, the Christmas mouse. Beautiful. Okay? How dare you? So I got more frustrated about this, and I started thinking, like, what would be... Because I'm just not having fun. I don't know what it's like for you guys, but I'm personally not having fun with my consoles. I'm not. PlayStation's probably my most fun console. Then the Switch, the market for the Switch, I don't get to play. I hate the Joy-Cons so much, so I'll never play it portable. And the games are like, the ones I care about are super rare. You know what I mean? Like a new 3D Mario game doesn't drop every year. So I don't get much chance to go on the Switch. And the Xbox is just a giant nightmare. So I was trying to figure out what would make a great what would make a great console. And I had a hot take, and I'd be curious to your thoughts on the matter. And basically I said, my hot take is a console that pursues the highest graphics above all else will fail. Graphics is a niche market where pricing doesn't matter. Therefore, users that care about graphics will always migrate to PC. Consoles should focus on a simplified experience above all else. And the reason I started thinking about high graphics is because when you have high graphics, you have giant, supersized, insane updates and giant, bloated video game sizes. And quite frankly, it's no surprise to me why everyone's just playing the one free-to-play game, because it is such a nightmare to download and play other games. It is a giant nightmare. Can't wait for GTA 6 to basically take the entire space of the Xbox Series S. Yeah, 1,000%. We all know it's going to. But again, it's like, it's going to be the one game people play for a long time. These new consoles are making it so difficult to play games. The experience of playing games so convoluted with huge file sizes, small hard drives, huge updates, multiple menus asking you to play. Do you want to play quality performance? Do you want to play performance mode? Do you want to play ray tracing mode? Do you want to play just pure fidelity mode? Like, bro, do you remember when you just popped the cartridge or the disc into your console and then you pressed the on button and then you were just in the game? And if you're like, I don't want to play Crash Team Racing, I want to play Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, well, you just pressed one button and you just swapped the disc, and that was it. That was it. And now, can you even imagine? Can you even imagine? Because this is what would happen. I would grab Halo Infinite and be like, I don't want to play Halo Infinite. Why did my camera just die there? I'm scared now. I'm very scared. I want to play Halo Infinite. Oh, wait. There's an update. Okay, I want to play Call of Duty. Oh, wait. There's a giant, even bigger update. Okay, well, I'll play another game. Oh, but while I play another game, it slows the network speeds of all these other games, so I can't even play those games eventually. So I guess that's going to be a tomorrow thing. I'm over it. I'm actually over it. And if those of you who remember, we had a little science experiment. We went through and we tried to design the perfect console. So I have this here too, if we want to like quickly touch on that. For me, okay, I may have changed my mind on one or two of these things. I'd be curious in the chat. You guys let me know. And those watching on YouTube or Twitter, if you want to jump in here and let us know, we'd love to hear from you. But like, what makes the perfect video game console for you? And for me, I want physical games back that just work. I'm talking like cartridges. Just work. I want to pop that puppy in. Boom. Instant. Let's go. I want 60 frames per second at a minimum. I don't want the game hitching. If the game hitches at 60 frames per second, it's clearly not as noticeable as 30 frames. I don't care about your 4K, 8K. I don't care about that. I just want the games to run smoothly. If I'm playing on a console, that's what I want. If I care about graphics, I would get a PC. Console, I want a simplified experience. I want to play the game fast. I want to enjoy the game fast. I want nothing to block me. I want the game prices to be at a normal level. Chat, I went into Best Buy for Boxing Day for some deals. I walked in, I was like, and Best Buy doesn't even have that many games anymore. But I walk in to Best Buy and I look for some deals. I'm like, every once in a while games they go for $20. At $20, I'm like, I'll just pick it up, I'll try it. It's so low that I'm like, I'll try it. So I go into Best Buy and I start looking at the games. Nothing is on sale. Except for games like Battlefield 2042 for like $9. And I'm like, why would I buy that there? Why? I'm going to buy that. The game's not on the disc. It's going to be a 1,000 gig update. No. But games like, any of the Nintendo games, any single player games, like nothing was on sale. I was dying. So bring the games to $39.99. Okay? And the reason I say that is, if you put your games to $39.99, okay, it forces the game developer to have a discussion in their heads and go, we can't make this a $300 million game. It needs to sell for $40. Let's go lower. Because now with games at $90 Canadian, the amount of stuff these guys think they need to add to make the game worth it, and quite frankly, they're not necessarily wrong. For $90, $100 after tax here in Canada, brother, that kitty better purr. Am I right? That's what people say. People say that sentence. Look it up. They say it. That kitty better purr. Okay? So I think the game price heavily influences the type of game you get. And I think the saying of that kitty better purr for $39.99 is something that more people should be saying. Mr. Danny Lemon would agree. That kitty better purr. Blocking app purchases. When I say this, I don't think it's realistic, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of every game basically being broken, except for the store. I'm sick of that. Granted, I will say it's getting better. I would much rather put a huge block on 10 gig updates. In the Xbox 360 days, they actually had a limit to the amount you could update, and they just got rid of that. I understand why you would do that to make it easier for developers, but if you go and put a limit like that and think about the consumer first, you force the developers to become smarter with their updates. Now with no limit to the updates, effectively a developer can just be like, whatever. Yeah, just make them reload the whole game. Call of Duty. Right? And how many times, chat, have you gone to play a game, you get a giant, huge update? Is it necessary? Do we really need that? Or could you be a little bit more efficient? Like, really? What are you changing? Like, the updates that are the size of a video game is insane. What in God's name am I updating? What in God's name am I updating? Also, the hub thing with Call of Duty, stop it. Just stop it. Split that up. Disgusting. Let me download Black Ops 6. Let me download Warzone. Let me download whatever. Stop it. You disgust me. The next thing, include a multiplayer packing game. I'm talking something like Wii Sports. Why in God's name is that not a thing? Why has no one remade Wii Sports in the HD era? Why? That is like one of the greatest multiplayer couch co-op games. It's so easy, doesn't require split screen. You just pure vibes. Why? It bums me out. I want to I want to play something on the couch with the homies, but like in the case where I went home with my family to go play the games with my brother, bro, when could I have theoretically done that? When? When? Because it's just so much stuff in the way. And personally, for me, I had some other stuff for controllers. Personally, this is my personal belief that like a gamepad is for the hardcore aesthetic, but like the gamepads the way they are today, I just don't think you'll ever get mom and pop type of people, casual gamers, to jump into it. It's too complex. It's way too complex. And there's no reference point. Whereas like the keyboard and mouse, you're going to use it to type, so you're already going to get used to the keyboard and mouse. But like a gamepad is so foreign to most people who don't play games. I think it's a giant barrier of entry. So I think you should support both a Wiimote type controller and a gamepad for people who want it. Kind of like what the Switch does. I think that besides the Joy-Cons being absolute trash, I actually think the way the Switch does it with like a Pro controller is cool. Personally, for me, I would just include them both. And the last thing I think my perfect console would have is push to talk. Personally, for me, I think the socialization in video games has gone to a limit, like a level that is horrible, and that's because of the opt-out nature of microphones. In the 360 era, you were given a microphone. Everybody got a microphone, and it was always on. So if you had a microphone, we could hear everything. You had to mute yourself to turn it off, which most people did not. And then you got so many annoying things, and people just yap just to yap. However, now in the newer generations, they just got rid of that completely, and now no one has a microphone, so everything is a ghost town. Except for the two people who buy like the Astro headsets and then talk in a console game, and everyone's like, bro, we're not talking to you because we didn't buy a headset. We're not going to do that for this console. It's already super expensive enough. Nobody has time for that. Okay? And the mic on the PlayStation controller is the most weirdest, disgusting thing ever. I agree. I actually think it's not bad, but it's so weird to just talk into the controller. Personally, for me, I think the controllers, I think the idea of having the mic in the controller is interesting, but it should be push to talk. Either include a mic with push to talk button on your controller, or the controller itself is the mic. I don't care, as long as it's easy, but push to talk so everyone can always talk. It's opt out by default, but it's one button press away to say anything. Because the thing with microphones is like some people are like, oh, it's always on, so I don't want to have that on in case I say something. And then you have the other people who are like, I don't care, and I'll just say whatever. And then you hear their entire family order like, McDonald's, and they're all talking about, smoking expletives. We've all played the Uno games in 360 days. We all know it's available. So that's my perfect console. That's my perfect console. That's what I want. And quite frankly, no console does it. None. This is literally the best perks of every single console I've ever played in my life. The physical games of like the cartridge days and the old disc games, which I don't think you can do these days with the disc. So to me, it's a cartridge. The 60 frames per second of like the old PS2 days. The game pricing being absolutely goose-tastic of like the OG days. No in-app purchases of the OG days. The limit on the updates of the 360 days. The pack-in multiplayer from the Wii, including 2 controllers, like the Switch. However, they don't include the Pro controller, but the idea of splitting it up is fantastic. The controller having a push to talk. If you guys remember, if anyone played Halo 2 multiplayer back in the day, on the Xbox original controller, there was a white and black button that have now turned into your left and right bumper. And the white button was your push to talk. You'd push to talk, and it would be proximity chat voice. Everyone used it. It was awesome. Everyone used it. Push to talk was awesome. If you didn't press it, it didn't work. You had to hold it. This little psychology trick of holding it, no one's going to hold it forever. You just stop so many problems in the online space with a push to talk. PC has supported push to talk forever, and for whatever reason, the consoles don't. It makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. All right, let me read some of your chats here. And mine says, actually, give me 1 second. Let me grab some water real quick. I am parched. Oh, that's nice. Xbox was thinking you should just play board games with your brother? Bro, pretty much, dude. And honestly, we actually did. We went on to play board games because they just work right out the box. Ain't no problem. And it was good for families to play together. The fact that in the modern era, people would rather play board games instead of something on their expensive video game console together, like, it's not even a question to me. If you said, hey, would you rather play this board game to a group of friends at my place, or would you rather play a multiplayer game on a console? I'd be like, bro, it's going to be a nightmare to set that up on console. I need to buy like hundreds of dollars worth of controllers. Why would I do that? There's like no games that support like couch co-op games. Like, it's never going to happen. I would always choose the board games, which is just sad, man. Like, that's sad. Back in the day, the N64, brother, get over here. We're playing Smash. We're playing Banjo-Kazooie. We're playing Conker's Bad Fur Day. We're playing GoldenEye, baby. We're playing Mario Kart. We're getting crazy. We're playing Star Wars Pod Racer. Let's go, baby. Hold on, I saw another one here. Okay, Wizard also says with the price of consoles, it should have noise canceling. That would be cool too. That would be cool too. At the end of the day, I think a console should be a simplified experience to be the ultimate living room entertainment device. That's it. That's it. And when looking through that lens, I think none of the consoles even try to do that. Try to succeed in the ultimate value prop of that. And mine also says a console needs to have somewhat closed ecosystem to differentiate itself from the rest of the market with killer apps to stand out. Everything else is just extra IMO. I agree. But in the case of competition where everybody does that, how would you stand out? It would be on the game level, for sure. But you probably need something more. And I think there's a lot more you could do to make your... Like, in that world where what you're describing, where Microsoft and Sony each have really fantastic exclusives, and they're just, like, killing each other with, like, the perfect console, and they're just focusing on... Like, I think... Had like Microsoft done all this as well, there's no way I would ever choose Sony. I'd be like, bro. I mean, personally, I'd get both because I always get both. I just love video games. But Switch is doing it. Switch is, however, Switch's game prices are too expensive for the value they are. That's one thing they do badly. I love their mandating of physical games. However, like, they don't technically do this because a lot of developers who make big games import them to Switch, put some of the game on the physical disc and then the rest on this so that they don't have to pay the tax of the bigger sized cartridges that you need. Because I think there's like there's like a 16 gig, there's a 32 gig, and maybe 64, or maybe it's 8 is the minimum. But with every different size of the Switch cartridge, they cost more to develop, and thus Nintendo... Like, it's going to go into your profits. So I think Doom, for instance, picked the smaller physical game size and then put the rest of the game in an update just to avoid that problem. And Switch actually doesn't include any pack-in. Like, that was a Wii thing with Wii Sports. Phenomenal idea. PlayStation 5 with Astrobot. Phenomenal idea. But for me, if you're going to put a pack-in, you make it multiplayer. You absolutely make it multiplayer. And if your console includes one remote controller, like a Wiimote, and one Pro Gamepad controller, immediately, when I buy this box, I get a multiplayer pack-in that I can play with my friend immediately. Immediately. And with a remote controller, I can play with a friend who's just doesn't even play games. Significant other, a family member. The potential is so much better. Why they don't do this? Why they don't do this? Why? Switch is pretty close. Switch just needs a little bit more beefiness. Switch definitely doesn't do this. I mean, we all played Tears of the Kingdom, right? She ain't running anywhere near 60 frames. 30 frames seems to be like a stretch sometime. Oh yeah, that Zelda game. She ain't running at 60. I tell you that. 60 just feels beautiful. Feels absolutely beautiful and goose-tastic. What else did I say? Yeah, so I gave a 3-step plan. 3 steps to make consoles great again. Number 1, bring back physical games that can play instantly. Dodoy. Number 2, require games played at a minimum of 60 frames. Dodoy. Ban updates that exceed 10 gigs. Dodoy. Most consoles did this before 2013, and now none of them do. This makes me sad, and I want this to change. This makes me sad, and I want this to change. And this was the perfect console thing. By the way, would anyone buy a console that looks like this? Because, yo, that looks kind of cool, dude. Isn't it kind of weird that none of the consoles really have RGB? Like, I know the PlayStation 5 has like the little light strip, but yo, that kind of slaps, dude. A little light strip like that kind of slaps. Cube shape is cursed. Yeah, but the Ouya was also kind of like, it was kind of cringe. It was kind of cringe. It was like focusing on being an Android little toy. I think you make it premium like an Apple device. RGB will save consoles. Oh my goodness gracious. Just wait until Alien makes an Xbox so much RGB. Dude, Razer makes an Xbox. That thing is going to be RGB to the core. That's absolutely crazy. So yeah, basically my whole rant with the video game updates, basically it's a rant on Gen 9. They seem to have lost the plot on making gaming experience good, and I want these consoles to actually remember people have to play these games. They have to have fun playing these games on this device. And the friction they're adding to their consoles is just forcing me to go to PC and never ever touch my consoles, which is what's happening in Gen 9. I'm like never touching them. And even when I try to touch them, when I bring them back home for the holidays, I hate it. It drives me nuts. God! Anywhozer. Chat, basically what I'm trying to say is I'm just a young 22-year-old who's 7'2", hasn't even peaked yet. Phenomenal beard. Quite frankly, I'm unhappy.